Hello students, I am Isha Mehdiratta. In today's session, I'll be discussing what a magnetic material is, some basic terms related to magnetism, and we'll also discuss how magnetic moments are generated in a magnetic material. So let's start. Let's start with what is a magnetic material. A magnetic material is a material which can be magnetized by inducing magnetic dipoles. Some of the examples are iron, nickel, cobalt, steel. You have some rare earth elements like neodymium. So these are all materials which are magnetized when you induce magnetic dipoles in the material. We'll be seeing shortly what exactly this means. So with this, I start with the basic terms which are related to magnetism. Starting with the first one, I have magnetic poles. What do you mean by the word magnetic poles? So magnetic poles are nothing but the two opposite ends of a magnet. The two opposite ends of a magnet are known as magnetic poles. Moving on to the next term, we have pole strength. What exactly is pole strength? So pole strength is known as the measure of amount of force exerted by one of the poles of a magnet to a pole of another magnet. So it basically denotes the strength of a magnetic pole to attract magnetic materials toward itself. What is the strength of a particular magnet with which it will attract the other material, magnetic material towards itself? So this is the meaning of pole strength. Let's move ahead and discuss the term called magnetic length. So the distance between the two poles of a magnet is known as magnetic length, which is generally denoted by small l. Then we have magnetic field. So magnetic field is defined as the region where a magnetic pole experiences a force, or I can also say that it is the space surrounding a magnet where its effect is felt. Suppose you have a magnet in your hand. Suppose I say this is a magnet with this as north pole. If I bring another magnet towards it with south pole facing, then what will happen? The second magnet will be attracted. But if this magnet has a north pole facing this side, it will be repelled. In both the cases, this magnet has a specific area around it which will exert a force on the other magnet. So this region surrounding a magnet is nothing but magnetic field. Now let's discuss what are magnetic lines of force. So magnetic lines of force are the lines which depict magnetic force that exists surrounding a magnet. So these are nothing but imaginary lines which are represented like this. You can see that there is a magnet indicating north and south pole, and from the animation you can see that the lines are emanating from the north pole and they are moving towards the south pole. So they get released or they are emanated from north and they move towards the south when you talk outside the material. But inside the material there are force lines moving from south to north. The direction of these magnetic field lines at any point is determined by drawing a tangent to the line of force at that point. Clear? This is how you can derive the magnetic field lines of force. Magnetic flux density is the next term which I am going to discuss. This is also known as magnetic induction. It is defined as the magnetic flux passing normally through a unit cross-sectional area at that point. It is denoted by a symbol capital B and its unit is Weber per meter square. Magnetic flux density. In this diagram again you see that there is a magnet with magnetic field lines. What are these lines called? These lines are nothing but the lines of flux. If you hold a magnet, you're not going to see these lines. They are imaginary lines which emanate from north pole and go towards the south pole, and these are what are known as flux lines. Moving ahead, we have a term called magnetic moment, which is denoted by mu m. Let's have a look at what magnetic moment is. Magnetic moment is defined as the product of strength of one of the poles and the distance between the two poles of a magnet. If I am saying strength of one of the poles means it's nothing but product of pole strength and magnetic length, because distance between the two poles is magnetic length. So it's the product of pole strength and magnetic length. This is how magnetic moment is denoted. Just imagine the diagram that you have a small area through which there is a current loop. So this is a current loop, and you can see the direction of magnetic moment is perpendicular to the cross-sectional area. So I can also say that it is defined as the torque a magnet experiences in the presence of magnetic field, because according to the magnetic field there would be a small current loop set up, and the direction of the magnetic moment can be determined by this diagram. So it is nothing but the torque a magnet experiences. Its unit is ampere meter square, and yes, it's a vector quantity because it's seen from the diagram that it has a direction perpendicular to the cross-sectional area. Moving ahead, we have magnetic field intensity. What do you mean by magnetic field intensity? It is the measure of force experienced by a unit north pole when placed at a given point in magnetic field. It is nothing but the magnetic field strength denoted by H, and it is written as F by M, which has the units ampere per meter, or you can also say Newton per Weber. This is how magnetic field intensity is denoted. Next term we'll discuss is intensity of magnetization, or you can also say magnetization, which is denoted by capital M. So it is the pole strength acquired per unit area of cross section of the specimen. And if I say, suppose A is the cross sectional area perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, and suppose I say M is the pole strength, I can write magnetization as M upon A. Now in this equation I just multiply and divide by L. So what is M into L? It is dipole moment. What is A into L? It is volume. Area into length is volume. So I can define magnetization as magnetic moment per unit volume of the material. So there are two ways you can define magnetization. Its unit is ampere per meter. Moving ahead, we have a term called permeability. What is permeability? It is defined as ability of a medium to allow magnetic flux to penetrate through itself. What is the ability of a material that it will allow magnetic flux to flow through it? This is what is known as permeability. Permeability is denoted as mu equal to B by H. This is known as permeability of a particular material. We have mu naught, which is known as permeability of air or vacuum, or you say free space, and relative permeability can be derived as mu r is equals to mu by mu naught, where I say mu is the permeability of a medium and mu 0 or mu naught is the permeability of vacuum. Unit of permeability is Henry per meter. But unit of relative permeability, it has no unit because it is a ratio of two different permeabilities. If you talk about air, vacuum or non-magnetic materials, the relative permeability is 1. Moving on to the next term, we have magnetic susceptibility, that is chi m. Now it is a dimensionless constant which indicates the ease with which a material can be magnetized. So if I say a material can be magnetized easily, that means it has a high value of susceptibility. It is defined as ratio of intensity of magnetization M to the magnetic field strength H. That means chi M is equals to M by H. It is a unitless quantity. Now we have a small topic wherein we are going to discuss the relation between magnetic induction, magnetization and magnetic field strength. Now we know that the relation between B and H is given by B is equals to mu H, but I know that mu R is mu by mu naught, so I can replace this equation as B is equals to mu R mu naught H. But for air I know the value of mu R is 1, so for air I have B is equals to mu naught H. Now this equation gives the value of magnetic induction, which is set up by a magnetic field where there is air or vacuum. Now if a magnetic material is brought near this medium, there will be an effect of the magnetic material also. And what will be that? It will be B is equals to mu naught M, because there will be an additional flux set up. So because of air, it was B is equals to mu naught H, and because of the additional material, it is B is equals to mu naught M. So the resultant flux density will be mu 0 M plus mu 0 H. Now we know that B is equals to mu H. So I'll just compare these two equations and I will get mu H is equals to mu naught M plus mu naught H. I just take H on the other side. So mu is equals to, I'll be getting mu is equals to mu naught plus mu naught H M upon H. Now what I'll do is I'll just divide both the equations. Mu 0 is common. So now what I do is I just take mu 0 on the other side, or I divide both the equations by mu naught. So what will I get? Now I know in this mu by mu 0 is mu r, and I also know that M upon H is equals to chi M. So I replace these two values in the above equation and cancel out mu naught mu naught. So I get mu r is equals to 1 plus chi M. It's a very important relation which relates relative permeability with magnetic susceptibility, and the relation is mu r is equals to chi M plus 1. Now we'll move on to another topic wherein we are going to discuss the origin of magnetic moment. So how are magnetic moments being generated in a magnetic material? What is responsible for that? So there are majorly three contributions to magnetic moment of a material. They are due to the orbital motion of electrons, due to the spin motion of electrons, and due to the spin of nucleus. Why didn't we write the orbital motion of nucleus? Because the nucleus, being made up of protons and neutrons, is very heavy. It cannot orbit around the atom. It is at a fixed position only. And because the mass of nucleus is very high, even the spin motion is neglected. So the magnetic moment due to the spin of nucleus is very small, and hence it's not considered. Also, if I talk about due to spin of electrons, so there are certain materials in which the spin of electrons cancel out each other. So the major contribution towards the magnetic moment is due to the orbital motion of electrons. So now I can say that I'll be defining a term called Bohr magneton. Let's see what Bohr magneton is. The magnetic moment related to the orbital moment of electrons, it is given by the equation mu E is equals to minus E upon 2me into L, where L is known as the angular momentum, which is equals to L h cut. H cut or h cap, which is Planck constant divided by 2 pi. So I'll just replace L by L into h cut, and just notice this equation. Charge of electron, mass of electron, and h cut, all three are constants. So I can say that the moment mu E is directly proportional to L, and this can be written as mu E is equals to minus mu B into L. Let's see what this mu B is. What have I done? I have just replaced all the constant terms and I have substituted them as mu B. This mu B is nothing but the Bohr magneton, which is known as the smallest unit of dipole moment. The smallest unit is what is known as Bohr magneton. Mu B, the value is E h cut upon 2me. So substituting all the values of constants, you get the value as 9.277 into 10 raised to 24 ampere meter square. So this is the smallest dipole moment generated due to the orbital motion of electrons. So you can just say that the orbital moment of electrons in an atom can be expressed in the terms of Bohr magneton. So in today's video, we have seen what is a magnetic material. We have seen some basic terms which are associated with magnetism, and we have seen how are magnetic moments induced in a magnetic material and what is Bohr magneton. Hope you have understood all the topics I discussed today very well. Thank you.